So traders, I've just been doing some analysis on the overall, the main ETFs, like the home builder ETFs, the financial ETFs, looking at the transports and all that sort of stuff. And it's actually this interesting sort of pattern is just occurred to me. I'm just doing some update analysis on my Sunday morning because I just can't wait for the market to open up tomorrow. And there's some things I'm really seeing here, and I just wanted to share with you my thoughts about what I'm seeing. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, if you need some help with your trading, I'm giving away a full complete trading course, foundations, chart reading, my trading systems. There's a whole bunch of I think there's over 10 hours worth of training in there in total. So if you need help, guys, just grab that free trading course, link in the description, or just go to johnsfreegift.com. Let me actually start off with a few ones here. I'm going to start off with the home builder ETF here. And then what I want to do is I then want to, so I'll start off with the home builder ETF here. So look at this here. So one of the most important things that I love to do when I'm trading is I'm always trying to look at the big picture, right? Because the big picture, we can really get, okay, what's really going on here in the markets? And one thing that allows me to get a good sense of what's going on is I always look at the big picture, which is the weekly charts. The weekly charts are very, 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 very key here. So if I actually squeeze my weekly chart up on the home builder ETF, look at this here. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. So even if we don't worry about this bottom trend line, then we have this bottom trend line down here somewhere like that, right? So we have that bottom trend line there and so on and so forth. But look at this here. I've identified that I've identified these major resistance points and I've just connected them up on a trend line. That's all I've done is I've just said, okay, here are the major levels of the high levels up here. So high level up here, high level up here, high level up here as well too. So I've identified those high levels. I'm like, okay, well, there's probably going to be a trend line here. So I drew a support line through them. Like, okay, cool. That's actually a major level that actually happened in the past, again, in the weekly charts. And then we had this major level down here and the major level down here. And you can see those were bouncing levels. So if the home builder ETF ever did get down here, guess what? We're probably likely to find a bit of support. Now, here's the really interesting thing. We have been going sideways for quite some time. For the last really, if you look at this weekly chart, you can see what's been happening here. Ever since around April, we've been doing really nothing. Come down a little bit, up a little bit. Again, this is a weekly bar, guys, so you've got to be patient with it. But look what I've also identified here on this home builder ETF. I've identified that this other small sort of short-term trend line, we have these major two long-term levels there, which probably is not going to come into play right now, so we don't really need to worry about that. But the most relevant trend line that we are focusing on right now, actually, you know what, let me just take that off the screen there because we don't need to worry about that right now. If it does start to come down, I can reapply them. But the most relevant trend line that I can use is possibly something. I'm actually just readjusting the trend line as I speak to probably something through there, I would say, because we have a major low level down here. And as you can see, we came down, almost bounced here, almost bounced, definitely bounced there, and we definitely bounced there. So this is a major level in the markets. So you can see the market's bouncing up, and we're coming almost back down to that level there as well too. So really interesting. We've got the whole debt thing happening recently. We've got the ceiling, which is going to be raised. We're never going to keep printing more money. That's just inevitable, and then also we have obviously the Fed announcements coming out as well too, and so on and so forth. So it's really interesting. If I go to my daily, this is the weekly charts now. If I go to my daily charts, look what's happening here. If I squeeze up a little bit more, look what's happening here. We're getting nothing but just a bit of a sideways. And let me just move this over a little bit more so I can make sure I can touch the lows on the daily. There's the support level. You can see support, and this is the major level. So we're getting that level, and we're also getting probably like this ascending triangle pattern that's happening. So have we just been spending a bit of time not doing much here to have that Santa Claus rally coming soon? Well, maybe it's going to start, because if we do start to break to the upside, then we're probably likely to see that. So that's the home builder ETF. Let me go to now, based on the back of the home builder ETF, let me actually bring up the transports here for a minute, because you'll see the interesting thing with the transports is the same thing. If I go to my weekly charts and I bring up my longer term weekly charts, it's massive long term, like we're talking like over 10 years plus. Look what is happening right now. We've been in a very big bull market and we've gone through a bit of a pullback right now. Again, this is a weekly chart, so this is obviously over the last couple of years. That's where my mouse is, but this is over the last 10 years. But look what I've identified. I've identified these major low levels. So all through here, you can see how this major bouncing level is just really, and even actually respected it here with the whole virus situation. Then when we broke back above it, and then that's where it ran. Interesting, right? Look at this here. So then what I did is I just created a parallel trend line. And then all I did really was, you can see I just connected it, and you can see what's happening through here. All I done is I just connected the major high points. You can see it's just a parallel trend line. It's just the exact same angle. And all I done is just put it up through there, and I can see that they were in a major channel. So as you know, that this point through here was then a lot of resistance. Was actually 2 points through there, 1 point, also 2 points through there, and almost 1 point through there. So is the resistance on the transports, like we've been having a transport pullback, are we about to see a transport explosion back up again? Is this resistance level about to become support? And what gives this a high probability of being support? Now, guys, I'm not talking about like one day. Like if I go to my daily charts, we could flush down here a little bit more, right? It's more like an area. But the thing that I notice here, notice how we actually have, this is what's called white space. I learned this a while ago, but this is called, see how we've got white space through here? We've got an up and then a down. This white space gives us a high probability that we're probably likely to get a bit of a bounce. So we've been going, like, how long has that been now on this home builder ETF? This has been now 4 months on a sideways. So same for, if I pull up my home builder ETF, then it'd be really interesting because we're having an up move and we're getting a pullback. I wonder what the Fibonacci level is through here as well. Okay, cool. So we're actually around about a 50% fib. So if we can hold here, even a little bit more downward movement, but if we can start to hold here soon, and we can start to break back above, say, 260, then that's actually going to be pretty strong, because now guess what? We're going up, we're going down, and now we're just jumping in on that big long-term trend. Really interesting stuff there. Now, if I go have a look at the... what did I notice on the energy sector? Nothing really much on the energy sector that I really want to talk about there, but let's actually go to the XLF, which is the financial sector. And once again, guys, this is something really interesting. If I bring up my weekly charts, I can definitely notice that there's actually a bit of a... See how we had this long-term level? And look what happened here. Really, really, really interesting. Now, if I create a parallel trend line, there's nothing really too concrete here when it comes to maybe something through there. Actually, you know what? You probably do have something through there if I'm drawing a trend line. It's more like an area, but you can see this whole area through here was definitely an area that is probably not going to find support. But that's back down through there. Where we are right now, if I zoom right in, is once again, look what's happening here. We have this area through here, and if I just bring that down through that level there, you can see how that we've had this starter point. Now we've had a bounce, and look what's happening. We're developing this triangle pattern here. So once again, if I go to my daily charts, and actually let me just bring that back up a little bit more. Actually, let me just make sure that I adjust that so it actually hits the daily charts there. Look what's happening here right now. We're not getting... This is actually quite interesting, guys. This could be getting ready for quite a big move to the upside. Now, I know I've done some market updates and saying we could get a pullback soon, but I'm looking at these individual ETFs here, and again, we're just going sideways here. We're getting a bit of a pullback here with this very big upward movement. If we start to bounce here and we start to get a very nice up and we start to break above these levels, then we're probably likely to see some upward movement. So just doing some analysis here, guys, on my Sunday morning when I'm doing this right now. And it's really interesting to see this overall triangle pattern that's happening. And as you can see, what's happening through here. So again, the big picture says, you know, especially if we start to get a very large bar like this, guys, like where we are right now, we're developing these highs and lows. But if we start to get something like this, where the markets are suddenly just, it may have a small bar like that, and then suddenly it has like a big up bar like that. If we get something like that, guys, over the next, say, couple of days in the markets, then we're probably going to start to see a massive rally towards the end of the year in these markets, because there's been a lot of talk of how September's going to be bad. It hasn't been bad yet. We've got to be a pullback. And then they talk about October and so on and so forth, right? So it does look like It does look like that. That again, like I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but if we do start to get the turning point, guys, this could be the start of that nice big maybe Santa Claus rally of coming in soon. So just some things I'm looking at here, guys. I hope that helps you out, and start these techniques that I'm using in my chart analysis right now, guys. Start to use them in your own trading. You'll start to get these levels here, especially when you start to look at the higher time frames and you start to get these levels like, oh, okay, these are levels I need to keep an eye for. Doesn't mean we're definitely going to bounce off these levels, but if the market does start to bounce off these levels, like so, guess what? Now we can do what? Now we can start to see. Let me just bring this back here for a minute. If the market does start to bounce off, now we can start to see where we are, being alert to what may happen, and being ready for it, right? Because once again, if the market does do that, and we start to get something like this, a big up bar like that, a big massive volume, then that could be the start, right? That could be the start of quite a big upward move. So hope this helps you out today, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey traders, I'm giving away 100% free access to my brand new breakthrough full trading course. This is 8 videos over 10 hours of pure amazing and powerful strategies. This is my most powerful systems and strategies that I've used for the last 16 years, and I'm giving it away for free. So this is what I want you to do right now. I want you to go to johnsfreegift.com, or there should be a link around here somewhere, a button or in the description or somewhere in there. Click on that and you can go get free access to my brand new breakthrough trading course. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now. Go to that right now, guys. You can get full, complete, free membership access. Go do that right now.